everyone, I'm Mary Kwiatkowski, and I am back again with another exciting episode of the brand new NBC reality TV show, Destination X. We've got fresh blood added to the cast this week, and to break down the fourth episode, I'm joined by my excellent co-host, Sasha Joseph. Sasha, how are you?
So good. Listen, Janae is here. Peter's here. I'm ready. I'm ready to get it started. Let's smash some vases, and let's make it happen.
Yeah, not everyone on the cast might know who Janae and Peter are, but we certainly did. So we're ready for it. Got a little sneak preview of them last week, but I think this week we're already kind of off to a good start of seeing what they are going to add to the cast, add to the table. And, had some people who kind of gave them the cold shoulder, had some people who looked like they wanted to work with them. I think I know a lot of this has to do with the map room. But I think just
Yeah,
based on this first episode that we got of seeing them, I think we're gonna see Janae and Peter for a while.
we better, right? Like, okay, and let's just get ahead of it. I personally feel like we needed Janae and Peter.
Yeah.
They're just like moving in all the ways that reality, TV shows need to move. I feel like they're able to kind of build the drama
Mhm.
and bring in all the right people. Peter's pals is working. Like I can't even be mad at it this time. So I don't know. This felt a little bit more like exciting, and we're breathing some air back into the show, because last episode was a bit flat. So again, I felt hope. I felt excited by this, and thank you to Queen Janae and Peter. We're making it happen.
Yeah, I think there are two ways that shows go when they add in people partway through the cast, especially people who are reality TV veterans, which we've seen on a lot of different shows. And I think option one is that everyone gives them, puts them to the side and says, nope, not going to
Mhm.
work with you. That's it. And then option two is that we see them almost instantly get embraced by at least some of the cast, right? And I think we got more of that. So I think we're going to see them for a little while. But
Yeah, and again, I think Peter specifically even did the right thing, that getting the folks on the bottom, because every reality like competition show, we're just like, why don't the bottom people just get together and make something happen, blah blah blah. So far be it from me to not give Peter credit, because Peter's pals was pissing me off on the traders, but I liked it. I liked it, and I'm excited to see how gameplay works, because again, it felt like the challenges, not the country challenge. The country challenge was like silly and funny, but the city challenge, with only one winner, and the drama that comes with whatever happened with Ty, I felt like that's the kind of stuff I would like to see more. I'd actually like to see more fallout from the vase breaking, right? Like,
mhm.
oh, why did you pick me to, blah blah blah. I thought we were together. Just a little more drama there, a little bit more frenzy.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that I can see down the line a good mix of tension that might start happening as well. So I think we're in for a good start to this
Yes.
next phase of the season. So speaking of which, before we jump in, let's just remind everyone where you can find us all. You can find all of our coverage for Destination X at weknowdestinationx.com, which includes both our episode recaps like this one, and also, if you haven't been listening to it, our Destination Exit Press that will be coming to you just a day after the episode airs, usually. We talked with Rachel last week and got to hear more about her game and everything that happened with the girls' alliance that never was,
Oof.
And then this week, of course, we'll speak with Ty, and I'm very interested to hear a lot about what was happening with her strategy.
Oh man. And a lot of folks in our comments called it, I feel like, last week, to say like, oh no, this is not no way this is going to be good. And this might be the end of the robot. And I was like, no, Ty seems like really strategic. I think she'll get out of it. No. Again, this is why I really think this cast is so good. I just think the game mechanics need to be fixed, because they are so messy, and no one's loyal to anyone but themselves, and that's exactly what I want in a show.
Right.
I feel like there is ways to turn it up more.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think that there's possibilities. It's always hard with new shows because we never know, like, are they going to get that second chance to be able to shift things around, learn, from the first concept. But if you go back and watch the first season of a lot of good reality shows, there's a lot that's
Yep.
changed since then. So I think if they can get the chance, I think that they've definitely got something here. They just need to tweak a little bit. But
Yes. And
anyway,
no more big cities. God.
yeah, and I do think that that is a factor also of, like, season 1, are we going to get more? We want to show off. We want to go to Paris. We want to go to Rome. We want to show
Fair.
off these cities.
Mhm.
But I think, like, the best elements of the show are the cast and then also the ability for the audience to try and figure out as we go
Yes.
along and guess. And so I think if you can increase that element, would help. I know based on the nature of some of the twists of this episode, which we will get into, it had to be told to the audience where we were, where we couldn't
Mhm.
exactly do that, like, final end reveal of where are we, where we got to guess, but we'll see. Anyway, so yes, of course, if you're listening to the podcast and you like it, make sure you leave us comments. You can also feel free to leave us comments on YouTube with your thoughts. We love to see those. We got a lot of great ones from last week as well. And then also definitely drop us a rating and review, 5-star ratings only.
Please. 5 stars only. That's all we can read. We have a special
Yeah. I
apple.
have like a blinder thing where I just like can't see anything under 5 stars. It just
No.
doesn't work. Yeah.
And help
Um,
us out, all right? Let the boss man know we're doing a good job.
Yes, I know, exactly. Just because the boss man's not here right now doesn't mean that he won't check
Actually,
back in.
even more reason, because then he's gonna come back and check up on us.
Yeah, that's the first thing that's gonna happen when the Podfather comes back is he's gonna go, "So how did the Destination X coverage go?"
Exactly. That's all he cares about, actually.
Yes, exactly. So, episode 4, let the deceit begin. And there certainly was a lot of deceit all throughout the episode. We get our opening thing, which I don't know why I've noticed a trend that it seems like we are always starting 300 miles away from our destination. Why? Why are we going in chunks of 300?
I think it's just so that, when the folks, get the country clue, it
hmm
doesn't equal you also get the city
They
clue.
need a little bit of space. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So yeah, we don't know exactly where we are yet. Now, just as a reminder from last week, one of us is doing a lot better than the other at guessing where we're going to be going because Sasha said that she thinks that we will be going to Brussels, Belgium, or the Netherlands. So all of those got brought up in this episode, whereas I said we're going to Germany. I've
Which
got
is
it.
oh my god, this whole time I thought I lost, and I thought I
Nope.
said Germany, and you
No,
oh,
that was me.
oh.
I said Germany, and then of course Sasha was right again. That's fine. It's fine. I'm not
Oh,
bitter.
I really thought that I lost this time, and I said, "Great, we're 1-1." I said
No,
Germany, and you said
no.
those countries. I just forget what I say.
Yeah, so not only did we go to the Netherlands, but the decoy that gets brought up
Yep.
later is literally Brussels. So it's whatever. Okay, fine.
But that's
But
what I was just sussy on Belgium because, like, Josh told us in his exit press, right, that they landed in Belgium and then started down. So I was like, maybe not. And maybe I'll bring it up again. But this is why I thought Ty would not pick Belgium. Because Ty was like, it doesn't make sense. Why would we be there?
yep.
And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, because you started there, because you started there, because you started there. So exit, but it's fine. I don't blame Ty. It sucks, but
Yeah, it is what it is. I think the lesson
mhm.
of if you could take one lesson from Destination X, if you're having a meeting with some people, whether they're allies, not allies, whatever, right before the map room, and they tell you definitively a city, don't do it. Don't. It's always wrong.
It
Even if they're giving you, even if they are not trying to lie to you, even if they are trying to give you advice,
'Cause
It's wrong.
actually that's the pattern, right? Rick to
Yeah.
Josh.
Rick tried to tell Josh,
Yeah.
and
Uh,
Ty told
Allie told Jonah.
Allie told Jonah,
Well,
and then
granted, she, like,
Ty.
knew it was a little bit on purpose, but, actually, you're right, it doesn't matter.
But it
Allie
doesn't matter, but
tells
I'm saying
Jonah.
somewhere, but, like,
Yep,
it was honest, a little bit of deceit, honest when Ty tried to tell
yep,
Rachel, and then deceit in this episode from Biggie. So, just don't believe it. Don't believe it.
yep,
It's
so
never good news.
funny.
Our clue for this episode that we get from, JDM at the start is that we are going
Mhm.
to a city that was built on a swamp. Did you know just based off of that?
I said this has to be, like, another yes, I figured it's one of the smaller countries, that's why I thought like I said, I lost because I said, "Oh, we're not going to Germany."
No, that was me.
Oh
Now
my
have you ever
god.
been to Amsterdam?
Not fully, like, just the airport, because I was on
Okay.
KLM, but
Yeah.
I forgot to put but KLM gives out little houses, so
Oh,
I do have that, I just forgot to put it up behind me, so that's the only closest place. Have you been?
I'm I will have a 9-hour layover in there, in September, so I or
Look
in
at
end of
us.
August. So I am planning on
Ooh,
at
where's
least
Mary
leaving the
going, guys?
airport and running around for a couple hours and come back. I'm going to, well, I'm going to a lot of places, but I'm going to, Northern Ireland and Wales and Scotland. So I'm taking a little
Oh,
detour first through Amsterdam. But my brother, who was just in,
yeah.
London last weekend.
Ooh,
He also went to Amsterdam first, but they went for like 2 days. So they just went to Amsterdam, my brother and his girlfriend. And so now I have a little bit of context. I mean,
I
I feel like
love
Amsterdam is one of
that.
those places. It's in so many pop culture things that
Yes,
like they
yes.
went there on Ted Lasso. They went there in
Mhm.
um that John Green book, The Fault in Our Stars.
Oh, oh my god. Can I
I'm
just say I
trying to
knew I was
remember.
a psychopath because when I watched that movie, I just, like, laughed. My friend, like, wouldn't stop
Oh
crying, and
my
I just
god.
couldn't stop laughing at her. So,
If I
terrible.
know one thing about myself, it is that I will connect everything to pop culture. So,
As you should. What do you mean? Real mess magnet right here.
like, a lot of us don't get to leave the country and don't get to be well traveled, and so we have to take what we can get.
Oh my god. I know, cause for me, like, Amsterdam yeah, I always say like, I would wanna go to Amsterdam, even if I'm not, like, a bike girly, I would still wanna like,
Mhm.
that's the vibe I wanna give in
Yeah.
Amsterdam, so I understand. I'm very much, like, influenced by, like, what things are supposed to look like.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Hey, it looked great. So,
Mhm.
the thing about this episode that I would've trimmed a little bit, we get, like, the entire scene that from the end of the previous episode with Peter and Janae on the bus again. We
Right.
basically get all the same beats. They come on, we Ty's doubling down on her lie about not meeting Janae. Rick directly asks, and the first thing I'm thinking is because we talked about this at the end of last episode. What is Ty doing? What is this plan? It's one thing to lie and to like have a secret. It's another thing to tell a lie that at least one, if not two or three other people know is a lie. Janae knows that Ty is lying. Peter possibly knows if Peter and Ty had been talking, or Peter and Janae had been
Yeah.
talking. And then also we find out Shane knows this is a lie because he was there and he says that he heard her talking to someone, talking to a girl.
He
So
heard girls yelling is what he said, and what's nutty is did you not realize how probably close you were? You know, distance-wise, I mean, to Shane?
And the worst of this is that we've said is like this isn't like she deceived someone or she cheated something or whatever. This is not a strategic lie. What
No.
does she is gaining by acting like she didn't know Ty? You're seeing Shane got zero blowback from having met Peter. He was just like, "Oh yeah, I met Peter. I just didn't think it was that important." And that's all she needed to do is just say, "Yeah, I hid it from y'all because I wasn't really sure." Like to be fair to her, I do think people if she backtracked here and said, "Yeah, you know what? Actually, I did lie initially, but I am
Yep.
coming clean. It was I did meet Janae. I just didn't think it was that big of a deal." If she says that here, I do think people are still going to say Ty lied. We can't trust her. Whatever. but it won't be as bad.
That's what it is. I think that there's like room for at least a Peter Janae taking her in, right? To be
Sure,
like,
exactly.
hey, just like they did with Rick. See, you are on the bottom, blah blah blah,
Mhm.
for no fault of your own, a little bit fault maybe, but no,
Yeah.
really no fault of your own. Because why are they cool with Shane and not cool with you? Hmm, maybe women, not to be the woke friend, but like it's giving, right? Like women are judged a bit harsher. So at least we would have had a leg to stand on and defend her a little bit more to be like, well,
Yes.
Shane did it. Well, Mac did it, right? Like what's going on? People lie all the time. That's the name of the game. And but bless her heart. Like I think she panicked and I don't know like what exactly happened, but I appreciate Janae for being a girl's girl and not like outing her right there
Yeah.
and being like, "Oh yeah, I didn't see her." I just think Ty should have just been like, "I just didn't know who you were, so I didn't think like it mattered. I was just like, oh, I just want like the clue and let me, or sorry, the advantage, and let's move on.
Well,
With my day."
and not only that, but by the end of the episode, we get a lot of moments from almost everyone. Kim, Mac, like so many people just being like, yeah, I don't really trust Ty because she lied. I think it's pretty clear that Janae or Peter, somebody tells everyone, like, yeah, we think she's lying. Like, she's lying.
Yeah,
Like it seems like it basically gets out
yeah, 100%.
to everyone the truth anyway. So whatever. Um, Biggie wonders also, like, well, if Ty's lying about this, what else is she lying about? And that's the big
Mhm.
problem with getting caught in a lie is it's not one thing. It completely changes everyone's perception of you in general.
Yep.
Because Ty was riding pretty high in the last few episodes in terms of positioning. She was good with Shane.
Yeah.
She's in this Shane, Biggie, Ty, Allie alliance. So I feel like and I feel like based on that alliance where you've got Shane with Biggie friends, Allie with Ty friends, and then the showmance, I
Mhm.
feel like that would have also been a good opportunity for Ty and Biggie to also make a connection. Um, but instead, this episode goes a completely different way.
Oh, it's just there was so many missed opportunities, and like, and we can talk to her about this tomorrow. But it's really interesting because on her Instagram, she like acknowledges that her game was messy as hell. And she's like, "Listen, I was doing a lot, but at the end of the day, she's like, I just feel like I was making good TV." She does say like edited for television, so I'd love to know what we mean by that.
Yeah, what was
Um,
edited here? Yeah.
yeah, and, she but, like, stop being weird and stop harassing her, cause like, yeah, what? We want silly people on TV, we want
I
people
don't want everyone to
that
play
do stuff like
perfectly.
this. What are
Yeah.
you doing?
What
So
what are we
stop being
gonna have
weird,
to
guys.
talk about if everyone's playing optimally?
It's like, "Ooh, boo, we boring." We come for a mess, all right? And we appreciate people that deliver it. So stop the trap. Like stop it. But it's really funny because again, I just feel like all of this culminated into like Biggie just getting a reason to attack her. Cause I just felt like it was her regardless that they were going to
Mhm.
try to, game.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened, and I just feel like Janae is, like, so nice and really, like, is able to, has a good social game, right? Like, get herself into the groups very quickly. We've seen her do it on Love Island. So I just feel like she was not the one, and neither is Peter, because we know, like, Peter is like a dog. Like, it's sharks that smells blood in the water and it's over.
Mhm.
So it's a bummer, and I'm interested to know, did she know who these people were? Because I think that would have really changed the way she approached it, hopefully.
Yes. Yeah, and we see Janae and Peter come in and kind of split off. It seems like the guys are
Mhm.
talking, the girls are talking, and, while we get, like eh, we don't have a ton of views of, like I would love to see what does Kim think about Janae? What does Mac think about Janae? We don't really get a lot of
Exactly.
that. We do get what people think, about Peter, especially Rick. Rick loves Peter. He's clearly a big Peter fan. He's a Peter pal. He's watched the Traitors, watched The Bachelor, all of that. And so I think even before everything else happens, it's pretty clear that
Mhm.
Rick like wants to align with Peter and is planning on finding a way to do that.
And again, so good because Rick, I feel like is a little bit of a gamer. So this is where we're excited that he's finally getting people that are willing to play with him instead of like letting him kind of just float to the like float on his own island. So I just shout out to Peter and Janae for seeing him on the bottom and getting him in. I love it. I love it for us because I think that this is going to be a lethal alliance.
Yeah. Exactly. And did you think it was obvious that Peter and Janae were going to form an alliance with each other?
They had to. If you're smart, yes. I think they should form an alliance. But again, here's what I'm still not getting. Like, there's obviously, folks that are in open alliances, Shane and Allie, Peter and Janae now. And people are just kind of like, okay, yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if this is I think this probably is the best game decision for Janae and Peter, regardless. I mean, they've already got a built-in person. They're probably not based on the layout of the game. It's probably not too much of a worry of like
Mhm.
being targeted for being together anyway. We've already got a showmance, like, and plus it's hard to target people directly.
Mhm.
Well, with the exception of like what Biggie got, and if we have more challenge or more advantages, sort of like this in the game, I think there might be more opportunities to kind of directly try and make someone lose. But
Yeah.
it you still do have the choice at the end of the day to trust your gut or trust the information people are telling you.
Yep.
Um,
It's nuts.
yeah. Also,
I loved it. I really did. I think we need something like this for a show that was coasting a little bit.
I did think it was interesting though that when Peter was asking, like, he's kind of having a casual conversation. He's like, "Hey, so like, guys, what kind of clues do you get? Like, what's been the most helpful?" And Biggie just straight up says, like, "Yeah, we're obviously not going to tell you. We're not going to like help you at all with the game." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah."
Just nuts. And again, Biggie was having a moment. He's nuts.
This
I
whole
love
episode
him.
was a lot. I did think this was Biggie turning on and actually like trying to like play the game and not just the challenges,
Yes.
which I did like. Also, this episode we get a lot of like Kim kind of being sneaky and being like overhearing conversations, which is great. Um, we also I had in our exit interview with Rachel, she had mentioned at one
Mhm.
point something about someone coming downstairs, and it does seem like
Right.
the bus, like the beds are upstairs. Like I
Yeah.
did not realize this was a double decker situation.
Me either until, yeah, someone mentioned it, and then I said, "Oh, that makes so
Yeah.
much sense."
Yeah, it makes so much sense because 'cause I'm like, "How long is this bus?" Based on
Right.
everything they're doing. Yeah, so we get to our first stop challenge, our country challenge. Um,
Mhm.
we're in a traditional fishing village, and everyone is still in their blindfold goggles situation. Allie, Ty, and Mac are in a restaurant. Now, do you think that they chose to be in these positions? We need to remember to ask Ty this. Or do you think these
Right.
were pre-selected? Was it random? Did these three women have like a fear of heights?
I
Like what
think
was the situation?
it seems like Jeffrey said, like, "I split you up into random teams." So, I'm wondering now from the teams, did they decide who.
Maybe that might be possible that they split into teams and then told people like two of you are going to be eating and one of you is going to be. The thing that I thought was interesting was when I first watched the challenge, because we kind of don't find out the whole structure of it
Yep.
until it's happening. But I thought, oh, this is really unfair for the people who are having to eat and be outside, that they have to
Right.
do all the work and the person inside, I mean, they're guessing, but then they just get all this information. I did not realize that the people outside, though, you have to trust that they will then tell you what they saw. And that is the big interesting twist, I think, to this.
And again, a great strategy moment, right? Like, "Oh, will they tell you the truth? Is
Right.
it going to be real? What's going to happen?" And, like, in a lot of these, like, kumbaya shows, they might be honest, but again, season 1 of a show is so good because Rick and Biggie said, we actually won't." And I don't know, I just feel like this is the kind of stuff that makes the show more attractive to me. I want more, like, silly villainous things.
Yeah. Yep. I like this. I like the element of gaming that is happening within the challenge itself,
Mhm.
so it's not so straightforward, because a couple of our previous ones, like the one they did in the snow, when you're in a team, it seems like, or even the maze, it's
Yeah.
so okay, you get put in this random team and then you all have to work together. And I like that we get more um areas for deceit, which is the
Right,
name of the team.
right.
Yeah, so the people who are being hoisted up 150 feet in the air, they're like sitting at like a basically a picnic table 150 feet in the air, but they're blindfolded. And
Yep.
then they will be eating foods from different countries and describing them. Right off the bat, it seems like, especially in round one,
Yeah.
only one of the teams understands the goal of describing what they are eating instead of just eating it and being like, oh, it's mushy, and then making gagging noises. Biggie is the only one who is like giving descriptions of like, it's a triangle, it's this consistency, it's this taste. There's little like
Yep.
it was it was so interesting.
I just
Um,
think Biggie is, like, smarter than, like, they're editing him out to be, or he's
right.
even portraying himself, because the it's just every little thing he does, I'm like, "We this is a player, and we need to be sus of him."
Yes. Also, I was confused at first too, because I thought like the food was going to be from the place they were at, but it seemed
Mhm.
completely random. Like they were just eating different European food. It's like,
That's what, and then here's the thing, I even made a note of it, right? Where the first time, it's fine, it's kinda just like, okay, it was ox tongue from Austria,
mhm.
and, but, they, Allie guessed the wrong thing,
Yeah,
but then Team Mac, they had fermented herring,
right.
and I'm over here thinking way too much into it, and I said, "Herring, red herring, that means it's obviously not Sweden, blah, blah, blah." Nah, that's just
No,
not
I don't
what
think
was
that was
happening.
no, because the ones that were right were the spicy tripe from Italy, and then
Yeah.
the salmon roe cake, which I think was from England. So, like,
Mhm.
neither of those were pointing to the country. The only thing that was the actual clue is when, Biggie and who's the other person on that team? Was it Rick? Biggie
Yes.
and Rick open
Mhm.
their eyes and they get to see where they are. Now, they look around and there's tulips that they see bicycling, they see surrounded by the water, the things. They seem to instantly know that they're in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
I think the tulips obviously would have helped me, but I'm not sure that just by looking at that village that I would have known that it was the Netherlands as opposed to like Belgium or something. um
Exactly. Agreed.
so but there was some
But I think
confusion where
tulips,
later
and
they
then you
said they
just
saw a flag. Was that true, or were they making that up?
no, we saw the flag.
Okay, so there was a flag.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, there was the Netherlands flag. It's just they lied about the colors, obviously, of
gotcha.
the flag, but outside of that, yeah, yeah, we definitely saw it.
Okay. So this is where we kind of get some, and this was they were in the town of Volendam, I think is what it was
Oh,
called.
I did
Something like
not.
that.
Yeah.
It
Yes,
popped up.
Volendam, Netherlands. Yep.
Yes.
And then
Um
you also they also saw, in addition to all of this, they also saw, what was it? Windmills. So,
yes, which would have also helped for sure.
yeah.
Um and then we get back on the bus, and this is where we kind of have the and Peter again, much like early, he's just like, "So what was the view?" It's like, you're not gonna
Right.
just get handed it. I think he's just if Peter does not know at this point, he figures it out later, that, like, just asking a question in front of a huge group is not going to, like, trick them into giving you the
I
answer. Like, you go build a
know.
relationship, have a private conversation, you'll get the answer that
Just
way.
like, let's wake up a little bit.
Yeah, it was funny. Um, so Biggie and Rick discuss, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't trust Ty." I thought this was a little interesting. Maybe this is like while people are doing confessionals or something, but like the Ty and
Mhm.
Mac and Allie don't appear to be on the bus yet. That Biggie and Rick had a
Yep.
time to discuss this. So they discuss, we don't trust Ty. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna test her. We're gonna tell her that it's either Germany or Belgium. We're gonna tell her because those two have flags that are the same color,
Yep.
black, red, and yellow. So we're gonna tell her that, and then we'll give it some time. If that information never leaks and never comes out, then we know we can trust her and we'll tell her it's the Netherlands. Um, and
And
it's
here's the
just like
question, do you think they would have?
told her?
Yeah.
I could see them, like, right before going into the map room being like, "Hey, just so you know, we lied. It was actually this," or
Hmm.
something. Um, I mean, I think the better way of doing this is if everything else happens the same, except Ty does not leak the information, and
Yeah.
Biggie does, um, win the next challenge and get to see the vase that says "Made in the Netherlands." I feel like at that point, you just go to Ty and you go, "Oh my gosh, I think we misinterpreted the flag. It must have
Yep.
actually meant this." Don't act like you lied. Don't tell her you trapped, and then give her
Yep.
the correct information about the vase saying the Netherlands. And then at that point, it's sort of up to her to decide whether or not she trusts you or not, but you have at least given her all the correct information.
Yeah.
And you have not,
100%.
don't admit to having tested someone. Never do that.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. So I could have seen that happening. I don't know that I don't 100% know they would have. I think the problem is also if we get to this point and Biggie still has the same objective where he needs
Yeah.
someone to guess the wrong country, I think at that point he just says, let's just cut our losses with Ty. We've already told her false information.
It big agree. That's why I didn't know if they would have circled back, but maybe you're right. Like, I think so much stuff had to go right or wrong for Ty
Mhm.
to be safe, and
Yeah.
I just I it wasn't gonna happen because I just felt like a lot of people were ready to,
And
unfortunately.
she had the opportunity. She could have
Yeah.
decided that Biggie was giving her false information. She just
Mhm.
didn't, but she could have.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, they tell her black, yellow, and red flag. So we narrowed it down to Belgium or Germany, and they all agree, we're not going to tell anyone else. Peter is like, I want to build some relationships. So I'm going to go talk to Ty and see if she will tell me what the guys told her.
Yep.
And Ty is like, oh, shoot, I should probably build some trust with Peter. So she immediately tells him that correct clue or the incorrect clue. Um, and then Peter immediately talks to Rick and tells Rick this information. And Rick is like, well, it's all gotten back to me. Are you surprised at all that Peter immediately went to Rick and tried to verify this information?
No, I just again, it's kind of a little bit obvious of, like, who was gonna work with whom, and I just
Mhm.
think, like, if Peter is again, from the traders, we see that if Peter's locked in with someone, he's kind of locked in for good. So, I don't know that there was a lot of room for maneuvers unless, right, like, they heard, like, "Rick's a known liar, Rick has done this, Rick has done that, be careful." Then, sure, there is some movement, and then we can make something happen, but no.
Are you then surprised that that Rick tells Peter, "Oh, yeah, that was just a test. We're actually in the Netherlands." Because I would be a little worried that Peter would then go tell other people that, because Peter has
I did
just come to
too.
you and told you what Ty said, so he's been known to spread information.
Well, I think in Rick's mind, he's like, no, 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 we are working together. So you
Yeah.
and I are good. So everything that everyone tells you, you got to tell me, right? Like, I think that's his mindset, as opposed to, I think, everyone else, where, yeah, I agree with you that I would be like, a little bit of a leaky faucet. But when you're wanting to work with someone, you're just automatically going to believe that, like, all the information that goes to them, they're going to funnel to you.
Yeah. And I wonder, it's interesting because I think that so much of this is that Rick has just not had an alliance that he can share
Yeah.
information with, and so he's just like, "I gotta go all in with this one." I'm a little bit surprised that Rick and Biggie came up with this whole plan to do this move on Ty,
Hmm.
but that they then didn't sort of solidify an alliance with each other. Like, they
Yeah.
have a working relationship, but even by the end of the episode, it doesn't really seem like they have a firm alliance.
And I felt a little bit lost, and I think this is worth, like, if whenever we get to talk to these folks, like, what's actually going on, because I didn't realize that they were that close. Because I
I
was
think
like,
it's just
"Isn't this a
circumstantial because they
sham?"
got put on the same team, you
Right,
know?
because I was like, Aren't y'all playing him? Isn't that the whole joke? Is that
Yeah.
Shane and Biggie are the friends, and Rick is, like, kind of the, like, third wheel that they'll use and throw, unfortunately, as needed. So what happened? But you're right. I think it just has to be circumstantial. And Biggie was like, well, right now I'm enjoying you, so it's fine. But I think Biggie might turn, and I think I'm wondering if Biggie's the winner.
See, the problem is I just really want to have I need Mac to start doing
Yes.
something because I like Mac a lot. And we had such a
Yeah.
big first episode from Mac, and I'm afraid that if we don't see more Mac intermixed throughout these next, that by the time we see her, it's because it's her last episode and we're getting the Mac bump. And I
Yep.
don't want that because I think that Mac and Biggie have some similarities in their thought processes and their gameplay style. And
Yeah.
it's interesting to me that, we know that Kim and Rick are on the outs. It's interesting to me that Mac appears to be on the outs, but we're not hearing anything about it from her or anyone else. Like, I want to know from her, does she feel like she's on the outs? Is there a secret alliance or not necessarily secret, but is there a secret to us, the viewers, alliance?
Mhm.
And that's why we're not getting anything? I'm not
Right.
sure. I would love to see Mac and Janae working together. Like, that would be a fun little duo.
Something that's what I'm saying. It's just I feel like everything is so siloed, and I think it was Rachel or Jonah that said this, right? That they're just so close together on a bus that it's
Hard to go off and
really
talk. Yeah.
impossible to talk. So I wonder even if they're trying to kind of,
Yeah.
do all of this like quote unquote shady like alliance building. It's just not possible.
It's definitely, yeah, that might be the case. Whereas the showmance for what it is, while it's so obvious, it also does give a little bit of
Mhm.
a ability for those people to be like, well, of course we're going to talk. We're going to showmance, you know?
Yeah,
So
that's
it's a little bit
exactly
more
how
of
I
a
feel.
of a cover screen. Um, Biggie and Rick do talk, and this I thought was interesting. From what we saw, and I rewatched this to double check. Biggie asks Rick what he told Peter, and um, and Rick says that he caught Ty in the lie,
Mhm.
but he doesn't say. Rick does not tell Biggie that he has now told Peter the correct information because Biggie says, "Okay, cool. If Peter, Ty, or Janae ask us anything else, we just say that we don't know. We just need to do that." And so I don't think Biggie knows that Rick has looped in Peter to the correct information here.
That's what I didn't understand because again, here's a good thing Peter did, right? He said, "And can I share this with Janae?" So he got the check from Biggie, sorry, from Rick to share. Rick didn't do so. I think that again connects them, but 100%. When Rick shared that info, he conveniently left out that it said, "Oh, actually, I also ended up telling him the real story." Oh
Right.
yeah, that was calculated.
Yeah. And I like that because at first I thought I was like, well, this is a terrible move. Like, good for you for pulling in Peter, but like now
Mhm.
Biggie's gonna be mad. And I don't think that happened. And at least it did not happen that we saw. It
I
could have
don't think
happened, but
from what we know, we don't think that Biggie's seen it. That's
yeah.
why.
Yeah. So we get to our second stop, our next challenge, and they're in like a sandy desert like area. I did not know that this was a thing that was in this vicinity.
Mhm.
Kim is
Same.
like playing in the sand.
I
Kim's a
don't I
Hawaii
don't
girl at
know.
heart.
It's just I'm very confused. And the thing is they did their research on these cuz Mac immediately calls out a bunch of stuff about the sand, about obviously the Van Gogh. So listen, they know more than us.
So the clocks though, the melty clocks, isn't that Salvador Dali or is that now I'm confused.
I don't know. So here's the
Who
thing.
does the
I
melty clocks
It has to be
painting?
Van Gogh.
Melty clocks painting. Hold on. Let me
Solid.
look
Okay,
at it.
you're right. It is Dolly.
So, what is the
The red
Salvador Dali
herring.
collection or sorry, connection to Amsterdam?
I wonder if this is another red herring situation. Because
But
he's a
why?
Spanish surrealist.
Right. I get that. And but then it's like then there's a painting of Jeffrey Dean Morgan in the style of Van Gogh, which is the thing that
Yes.
Max clocks. And she's like, "Oh, I know for a fact
No
that the
pun
Van
intended.
Gogh
Yeah.
museum is in Amsterdam." That's great. So why the melty clocks?
That's what I believe that it was a just to throw them off, to
But
pick
see, that's so
something else.
confusing to be like, we're gonna show you multiple clues. Some are real and some are. I mean, I get it. That's what they've been doing. That's
I
the red
know.
herrings. But some okay, this is probably super obvious, and I just missed it. Someone please tell me in the comments why the painting, by the way, which is called The Persistence of Memory.
Mhm.
Why that? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I know.
Anyway,
Yeah, like, someone needs to tell us the connection as to why Dolly, like, they even put that there. Maybe we
yeah,
can ask
why did they
Ty,
have
did
so
she
much?
even
Let me just
notice?
look up Salvador
No,
Dali,
I'm on his Wikipedia.
Amsterdam
I don't see anything.
connection. Is there anything?
Like, he has connections to the US.
Okay, hold on. The Dali Endless Enigma exhibition
Oh,
um
okay.
has been shown in Amsterdam. So maybe it
No,
was
but how
just,
are we supposed to know that?
well, I think the same way that Mac knew that
Oh,
the
wait,
Van
wait, wait,
Gogh
wait, wait,
museum was
wait, wait,
there.
wait, wait. Showcasing his iconic stale Amsterdam. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, you're right. Oh, in Amsterdam, you can experience his art.
Yeah, so I think it was just, it was saying that those two artists, Salvador Dali and Van Gogh, both have exhibitions in
Oh,
Amsterdam.
come on. How would you know? What do I have
Well, I mean, I
Instagram
wouldn't. I
that
would not
tells me
know.
like 10, 10 things are going on in Amsterdam today? No, get out of here.
That would be like, so I was trying to think of what my city of Richmond, Virginia has that is like not
You know the
associated with
traveling
Richmond.
Van Gogh exhibit? Like, how are you
Yes.
supposed to know it's in your city? If you don't
Well,
look it up online, I mean.
I think they must have a permanent one in Amsterdam or
Oh,
something. I don't know. We're just guessing.
no.
But
Again,
anyway,
Amsterdam could have had really funny clues.
well, and I
They
think
could have some
because
grass, if you know
they
what I
they
mean.
know that they're not in Spain. They're pretty darn sure they're not in Spain, and so they're like, these
Right.
clues must mean something else.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the winner of this challenge, unlike other ones, is going to be told exactly where they are. And they're like, "Oh, well, that's awesome." Um, and so they are going to choose the winner. This was interesting, and this does show that the alliance matters because this is sort of a coconut chop survivory kind of challenge where
Mhm.
on your turn all you're going to do is just smash the vase of the person you trust the least. It's also sort of like the reverse chain of safety from Big Brother. We see these types of things. They're going to go one at a time. um and so I think, does Allie just volunteer to go first? I can't remember.
Again, no idea. Like, these
Someone
are
just
things
goes first. I feel like it was Allie. She just like stood up and was like, "I'll go
I
first."
have it. But it's just my question is, yeah, Ali smashes Janae's.
Yeah,
Um,
she smash we both said snashes.
are we
She
okay?
smashes
Um,
Janae's, and
yeah.
then after she does that, it was almost like she stood up and said, "I'll go first," and then, like, Jeffrey had not even finished telling the instructions, and so after she smashes Janae's, Jeffrey's like, "Okay, cool, and by just so you know, the order or the person you smash, that's the order of who's gonna go next."
Again, is it like an editing faux pas that they're just not, Frank can bite it later, right? To just give us like some understanding of what's going on or why we're even here. Because I'll say at first, I didn't realize that the person I just got confused, rather, I should say, on like, oh, you smash the person that actually you think is trustworthy and you give it to the untrustworthy person. But that doesn't make any sense. So
Yeah.
that's on me. But it's just, it felt like Jeffrey Dean Morgan is having the time of his life, obviously, like doing all of this. But how did we pick people? Was it another randomly selected thing? I just felt like the fact that they went for Janae first was shady as hell.
Yeah, I think that Allie's thought was like, I I think that the thing you should be thinking about in something like this
Hmm.
is, I need to figure out who I want to remain. You have to work backwards. Who do I want to be last? Who do I
Yeah.
want to not get their vase smashed? And then I need to pick someone who is not going to smash that person's vase. And whoever they pick will hopefully not smash that person's vase, yada
Yeah.
yada. And so, but then the other thing, which I think is more obvious based on what people were doing, is they're also just trying to smash people's vases that they can give an excuse that won't have that person mad at them. So Allie
Yep.
smashes Janae and she's like, "You're new, that's all." And then Janae smashes Kim's, doesn't really give an example or a reason. Kim smashes Peter's and she's like, "Because you're also new, you know." And so they're just kind of trying to come up with the easiest solution. Um,
Yep.
And then Peter's going to smash Max. Peter tells us that he thinks that she's smart, or maybe he tells her, and he's like, I think you know where we are. I think you're good, basically.
Yep.
Which in this case is true. Mac does seem to know where they are. Maybe she gave a reaction when they first got the desert, like, oh yes, of course. Mac smashes Ty's, and then Ty smashes Rick's.
Yeah.
Since she wants to leave her alliance of Shane, Biggie, and Allie at the end. And I mean, poor Ty, she is thinking, like, great, I'm in a good spot. Now my alliance is at the end. Perfect. Rick is going to smash Shane's for being athletic. I don't really. So far,
Oh my
athleticism has
god.
not helped at all.
All of the
Okay.
reasons were so funny, like, unserious ass people just doing anything.
Basically. And then we got down to the end. So Shane has to choose between Biggie and Allie. Shane's going to smash Allie's and choose Biggie's. Do you think that he just thought it doesn't matter and maybe he's trying to like distance himself
Yeah.
from the perception of the showmance? Because Biggie is going to tell him regardless, and then he's going to tell Allie
Yeah.
regardless.
Exactly what you said. I think it helps him out way more to
Mhm.
distance himself, number 1. Secondly, I think he's able to kinda make some moves and show everyone else, and is Allie really gonna be mad at him? I don't know.
Yeah. Probably not. I don't think so. I'm sure, especially if he tells her, like, hey, I'm trying
Yeah.
to downplay our showmance, that it's fine.
That's why I just yeah, that's
Yep.
why I personally felt like it's smart to do this.
I'd love to go back to our notes from the first couple episodes because I do
Yeah.
feel like Biggie has had such a heel turn of just like, I don't think people were really trusting him in that first like episode. And now he's got an alliance. He's really out in the front. He's doing all these strategic moves. So I think Biggie's real one blind spot at this moment is just Rick and not realizing how much Rick is also playing.
Yeah, agree. I just think that what they were doing to Biggie, Biggie is now doing to
Yeah,
Rick. Like, where
exactly.
they were just kinda writing him off. "You don't have anyone, you're obviously messing up constantly, blah, 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 so it's time for you to go."
Exactly. So we get to the VIP room, and Biggie is in the room, and they just tell him, well, he turns over a vase, and the vase says Amsterdam, Netherlands on the back. So it's kind of okay.
Made in Amsterdam, that's
Yeah,
it.
that was it. Um, Jeffrey Dean Morgan says, just so you know, the Dutch have a history of trading secrets and making strategic partnerships to maintain their empire. So that's what you're going to do here. And I did think this twist was interesting. So Biggie basically has to use his power of knowledge to convince at least one player to put their X in the map room on the wrong country. I
That
like
this
that.
was
That's
fun.
great.
I like this twist
Here's
a
the
lot.
only thing that I don't love is I wish is it too much to hope that at the challenge they had said you will pick your winner. Your winner will know the destination, but there may or may not be consequences. Or said something like your winner will know the destination, but that doesn't mean they're safe. Like I kind of wanted that to be announced so that you could
Ooh, I think
strategically
doesn't
try to
mean
not win the challenge. Because I think
yes.
that this is, I would probably, unless you are like really, really, really unsure of where you are at all, I feel like this would be a challenge I would rather not win and just hope that I'm not
Yeah.
the ones being screwed over by the person.
Oh, this is really hard. Here's the thing. I like your seconding that like may or may not be safe. You never know what this game, is gonna do, right?
Sure.
I think there could be million percent something around that. I just don't know. Again, I feel like this is all the stuff that like this show is missing a little bit. That like extra level of messiness. But I feel like Biggie seems to be the type of player that would have still maybe gone for it. And I love that for him.
Probably.
But
Because
it
I
would have
mean,
been messy.
there is I think the thing is this is the first time we are seeing that there is a possibility that you could go home from the game
Yeah.
by a means other than getting the map room wrong. Um So the way that this was going to always work out is that
Mhm.
either the person who wins the challenge is successful and gets at least one person to put their ex in a different country
Yes.
and they are safe, or they won't be successful. Everyone will put them in the correct country. They didn't all have to even put it in Amsterdam, just the correct country.
Yep.
If Ty had decided to split the difference and go like on the outside of Netherlands, she would have been the farthest away, but she would have been safe.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's fine. For me, I always like it when the players in the game know the rules of the game they're playing. And I think I could see if Biggie had gone home from this, I could see Biggie being like, oh, well, I'm a little annoyed because we weren't told that the winner of this challenge isn't safe.
Yeah,
So,
I enjoy that. I like the mess of it all, I will be honest. It's
mhm,
just that's funny to me. It just I think if we really wanted to do that, we coulda yeah, it could have been like what you said, a slight hint, not
yeah,
giving us too much, but just enough.
just enough.
Mhm.
So that all happens. And then Biggie decides that he is going to uh, do his deceitful move on Ty. They've already told Ty that they think they're in Belgium or the Netherlands, so he decides to tell Ty that the vase said that it was made in Brussels,
Mhm.
and also that there was something about diamonds and chocolate. I don't know why he like is giving extra things here. I feel like he could have just said, "What if he had come in and was like, there was a plate of Brussels sprouts?"
Right. Is again, I just felt like it's so silly, but it's just silly enough for someone like Biggie to make it work.
Yeah. Ty does. She's like, it's not adding up because Antwerp is the diamond capital of Europe, not Brussels. Is Antwerp in Belgium though? Where's Antwerp?
Um, Bruss? Oh my god.
Yeah, it's also in Belgium.
Yeah, okay.
So
Oh, yes,
even
it is. Yep.
even that would have been fine. Maybe she didn't trust that it was in Brussels, but like puts the thing in Antwerp. Like that would have been funny. I mean, she
Yep.
doesn't. She puts it in Brussels, but like that would have been funny if she thought he
Something.
was lying and then like used her own gut and then her own gut was still wrong.
But I just feel like there's a little bit of, like, a confirmation bias. I don't know if that's a fair thing to
Mhm.
say where, you think that, "Oh, maybe this is wrong," or "Maybe I'm not sure, blah, blah, blah,"
Right.
and turns out actually
Yeah, exactly. So everything goes down. Every single other person puts their thing in Amsterdam, which makes me think
Mhm.
that that information spread. The like, I mean, clearly we see Biggie tell Shane and Allie, no,
Yep.
it's actually Amsterdam. Are you surprised that Allie doesn't tell Ty the truth?
Um, I don't this is what I'm saying, like, I just feel like we don't know what happened. Like, I feel like there's a big disconnect here because
Yeah.
they were all supposed to be cool, but I think Allie, just like with Jonah, she I think would always give just enough info to keep herself safe. And I think because Allie was going into the map room, I don't know that like, she shares everything.
Because so I think that the only thing I could have seen from Allie if she wanted to kind of split the difference here.
Mhm.
Because Biggie tells Shane the whole situation with his challenge that he and what he has to do. We can assume that Shane tells Allie. So Allie is aware and Biggie is aware, or Shane's aware, that if
Yeah.
Biggie does not get someone to guess outside the country, that he goes home. We don't know how the information of Amsterdam specifically spreads to everyone. We are told that Kim is told by Peter that it is Amsterdam. How
Mhm.
does Peter know that it's Amsterdam? Unclear. Mac appears to be the only one who at least says, I'm guessing based off the painting situation. So Mac might have just got it correct on of her own information. Um, we can assume Rick was told by Peter as well. So maybe Biggie just told Peter and then Peter spread it around and told everyone else. But like at the point where Janae is guessing Amsterdam, where you know, Peter is, Allie, like not
Mhm.
Allie, but everyone else, it seems like they are guessing that based off of being told the correct information. So how did that 100% spread around? We don't know. I think what Allie could have done if she wanted to was to tell not don't tell Ty about
Mhm.
anything. Tell, keep Ty that, but then also tell someone else like Kim or someone like,
Yep.
hey, just so you know, Biggie is telling me that it's actually this. So that Ty will be wrong, Biggie will be safe, but that maybe someone else will guess wrong further away. And so Ty would still be here.
Yeah, I just again, I just think there's a lot of, like, distrust on Ty, and then she just got the stink on her. I think that's
Yeah,
what it comes down to because Kim obviously overheard Peter and Janae talk about it.
right.
So, we're good. So Kim and then Allie was the one, right, that saw Kim in bed. So I'm assuming that's where the information also got. sent. Then Shane, Biggie, Allie happened. So I just think it's crazy that somehow Ty got left out of all of this. But I wonder if Rachel was there, would that have helped Ty?
Probably. I mean, nothing could have hurt Ty, but I do think so much of this was Ty hurting herself. Like, I think she just needed to have
Yeah.
admitted the lie and stuff, because I think Allie is weighing, okay, I want to keep my relationship with Ty, but at this point, my relationship with Biggie is better because he's trusting me and giving me good information, and
Right.
he's close to Shane. Yeah, I did think it was hilarious when Jeffrey Dean Morgan gets on the bus and he's like, Ty, you're wrong. And Ty's like, what? She's so shocked. And then he
Yep.
says, yup, say your goodbyes, get off my bus. I was like,
I
whoa,
was
okay.
like, that was harsh.
Like, a
Like,
little
why are we
harsh, but
doing this?
okay. Yep. So she calls out her alliance. She calls out Allie. She thought she was a girl's girl, calls out Shane and Biggie. And then Biggie is like, actually, here's the situation. And so I do think Biggie does a good job here of just like throwing out all the facts and covering it. For all we know, Biggie had told everyone else this already, and he
This
just
is what
wanted to let it
okay,
out.
okay. Yeah, because I said, "Why did Biggie need to say anything?" Like,
I think
doesn't
it's
that
good
hurt his
because I
case?
think when someone comes at you when they're leaving, when Josh
Oh,
yelled at Rick, the stink was on
sure.
Rick for so long after
Okay.
that. And so I think that Biggie needed to cover his tracks and be like, "Actually, Ty, it was on you. I didn't trust you." And we, whatever. And plus he has a lot of things he could say against Ty now. He could tell everyone else, "Look, I needed to, in order to stay safe, I had to get someone to guess it. I picked Ty." And then everyone
Right.
would be happy. They're like, "Oh, good. I'm glad you picked Ty and not us." So
Mhm.
anyway, so yeah, she's in guesses Brussels, 130 miles away, and then her and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. We always have to have our little sign off from him of like,
Yep.
what are we gonna do? What are we? Which probably doesn't actually happen, but they're gonna go to a special coffee shop. So uh,
That was funny. So Rachel
good times.
currently is the only one that didn't get anything with Jeffrey
Nothing
Dean
from
Morgan.
him. Yeah.
Oh my god, nothing
But
for you. Goodbye.
just to check back in on our map, this is the pathing
Yes.
we have done so far, kind of shot from Italy straight across France and then up to the Netherlands. Um, Sasha, again, 2 for 2, has now guessed.
I did, but I cheated, I feel like, because I picked a bunch of countries.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well, let's try
god.
to narrow it down. And so I'm still 0 for 2. So do you have a guess of where we're going next? You know what?
I
I'm gonna
believe
lock. Well, hold on.
Germany.
Well, okay. I'm gonna lock back in though and specifically say Cologne.
Oh, okay,
That's
I'm gonna
so
pick
close. Actually,
Berlin.
that might be, yeah, I think Cologne might be too
We
close.
might start in Cologne, but
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
know. I'm
I'm trying to
picking
think, would they
Berlin.
go far enough to go all the way to Munich? Probably not.
So, okay, so here's a thing. Here's why I would give you Munich, because then they might go to Vienna. But I think, again, I don't know nothing about nothing. I just think that we go from Amsterdam to Berlin, Berlin to Prague, Prague to Vienna, and then maybe
Okay,
Hungary.
oh, hold on. Don't tell me your whole plan for the whole rest of the game, because then I can't guess at all. I'm going to be
No, no, you
wrong.
can.
Cologne looks way too close is the problem. Cologne's
No,
too close,
I think
and I
maybe
don't know that there's enough about Frankfurt or
I know, I just know, like, that my plane goes into Frankfurt.
yeah, man, this stinks because we're not I think you're right. You know what? I'm
No, we can both pick, because like, we are smart, logical women, so, like,
Yeah, you're
we're gonna
so
pick the
right.
smart
It's gonna
choice.
be Berlin. How far away is Berlin? Where I don't even see it
It's
on
a
the map.
little it's far. It looks far.
Is it farther away than Oh yeah, Berlin's like over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're probably gonna skirt around the outside. All right, fine. So you and we'll just both guess Berlin. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I think we can both do it.
At least I feel like we're definitely going to Germany. Although I still
Yes,
say, I mean, we kind of skipped over Belgium here, so that helped, but I don't love that we're just doing like adjacent. I know they can't just like drive all the way around the continent
exactly.
and then come back. But anyway, it is where it is. So cool. Until next time, we'll figure that out. Everyone, make sure you definitely check out our interview with Ty and get all these
Yes.
questions answered. Sasha, where can everyone find you?
Yes, you can, of course, find me talking celebrity gossip, all of pop culture. Listen, talking about whatever's trending. And if you're wondering why it's trending, Mess Magnets will probably help you out. So check out everything on mess.magnets YouTube channel or messmagnets.com to see everything and wherever you can get your pods. And that is all I have going on for now. What about you, Mary?
Yeah, everyone obviously can follow me everywhere at Frail Mary, and it's possible. Don't know the details yet, but you might see me on another podcast soon. Since if you know anything about me, I love messy love shows, and I'm pretty sure the Ultimatum is coming back. So we'll see. Ultimatum Queer Love season 2 might be fun. The last one was really fun, so we'll see if we're in what capacity we will be covering that. But I'm sure we'll be doing something. So make sure you follow all the RHAP channels to check that out when it airs. All right.
Exciting.
Until next time.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.